My goal today is to make running hurt less for you. Now, one huge elephant in the room when it comes to making running easier is our breathing. That is one of the biggest tools we have to make it feel good all the time. The problem is with beginners and advanced runners alike, we don't always have access to that deep breathing, and today I'm gonna help you figure out why. 5-minute routine before and after your run. This is gonna make you feel a lot stronger and a lot more in charge of how you run and for how long. Your endurance is gonna improve, you're going to feel better overall, you're gonna feel less tight, especially in the core. Let's jump in. So for my more advanced athletes, I know that off the top of your head, breathing doesn't feel like an issue to you anymore. You go out for that run, you're not held up by your breathing, you don't feel like you have to stop and go to a walk because you feel panicked. But I do want you guys to stick around because there's a very important piece of diaphragm function that you might be missing, so stick around for that. The first thing that I want to talk about though for anyone is that if you don't know how to nose breathe yet, we need to get that dialed in. Now, if you are someone who just goes out and doesn't think about your breathing technique, you're likely breathing very shallow in just the chest. So just that in and out through the mouth, just catching that breath where you can, you're really not making a priority. Now, what you can do is switch to nose breathing, at least for part of your run, to make sure you're getting full oxygen, full air intake all the way deep into the belly to make your body respond differently. I'm not gonna overcomplicate this breathing technique, but I do wanna say that the more you work on it, the more efficient you're gonna make your running. Think a more steady heart rate, less burning in the legs. You're gonna be able to get oxygen to those muscles sooner and more steadily, and ultimately you're gonna just feel a lot better on that run. So start with me right here. You're gonna put one hand on the chest, one on the belly, and you're just gonna take a couple normal breaths how you would. Just inhales and exhales. Nothing special about it. You can keep the mouth open, just easy. We're just take a couple breaths here. Kind of pay attention to the rate at which you're breathing, but nothing else. From here, I'm gonna have you close your mouth, and we're gonna do a couple big inhales just using the nose. So you're gonna go big inhale, and exhale. Either through the mouth or through the nose, either is fine, just inhale again. Exhale. Now, what I want you to notice is if the belly is expanding when you do this breathing, and is the chest expanding. So in a perfect world, we go chest out, belly and chest in. So I go. It might not be this exact order, but it is gonna ensure that we're getting full air deep into the diaphragm, and it's not just this shallow breathing happening in the chest, which ultimately is not serving us. So if you are having nasal issues, I get this question all the time, if you have bad allergies or asthma or deviated septum, something like this, your goal here again is to just get air deep into the diaphragm. So if that can happen only through the mouth, do it. Just focus on those longer inhales, expand, and then exhale either through the nose or mouth. So you are capable of doing this as well, but I just want you guys to know that in place right here, you have a feel of how that deep breathing is. And I've found that the best way to feel that, especially during running, is through the nose on the inhale, but again, just making sure you get that air in. So once we've gotten a feel for that, we're gonna take this into a little jog in place. I want you to be able to access this breathing technique at a little bit of a higher heart rate. We don't wanna take this to a full-blown sprint yet and see if we can do it there. We wanna just start in place with a light, easy jog. So what I'll do is kind of just small steps, and I'll keep that arm swing kind of how I would if I was running, but super, super easy here. So I'm just gonna take a nice, easy jog, just like this. And then I'll just take a couple breaths, maybe 5 times. I'll close the mouth and go big inhale through the nose. Exhale how I need to. Bonus points if you can exhale through the nose as well. That's gonna keep that really, really slow, deep breathing going. But if you have to exhale through the mouth, no problem. I'm gonna turn to the side here. I'm gonna actually put my hands back on the chest and stomach so I can feel this. Let's go, big inhale. One more time. The other part of focusing on this breathing is that you're gonna be able to relax those shoulders. The more you pay attention to everything going on up here, the better you can make that form. So drop those shoulders, keep them relaxed, nice easy arm swing, and focus on that breathing with a light jog in place. So to apply this to our running, what I'm gonna have you guys do is on your next run, you're gonna do 1 minute of nose breathing, or just 30 seconds if you're brand new. of nose breathing every few minutes. For my more advanced runners, you're gonna do 1 full minute of nose breathing every 10 minutes of your run. For my less advanced athletes, you're going to do 30 to 60 seconds of nose breathing every 3 to 4 minutes of your run. It could even be of your walk. Now, this is gonna be a really important thing to practice, especially at that higher pace, but remember that in the beginning, when you speed up and you add this technique in, it's going to feel a little miserable. There's gonna be that growth period, that growing pain period in the beginning here of the cobwebs getting removed. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, and the more uncomfortable it feels, probably means the more you need to apply this. So get through those first couple ones, like I said, slow way down, practice this technique. It's gonna make a huge difference, like I said, and paired with the second half of this video, you are gonna be flying. So the goal here is to make running hurt less, just like your legs, your butt, your abs, your shoulders. The way that you take care of those, roll them out, stretch them in between your workouts, the better off you're gonna feel and the better off your body will function so that you don't get injured. That's all part of making running hurt less. So just like those muscles, you have to take care of the diaphragm. It is also a muscle and it needs to be served as well. So especially if you're gonna start using that new technique that we talked about, I want you guys to make sure you are doing this little 5-minute piece that I'm gonna show you right now after your run to make sure you're getting full length and range from that diaphragm. You're making sure that it is not being neglected from doing all of that hard work. You might even notice that those first couple of runs of that deeper breathing technique will leave you feeling a little sore in the low abs or just in the stomach because you are really asking for more from it. So we're gonna make sure that thing is ready to go. We're gonna use any tool you need. You can use the corner of a foam roller. You can use this yoga tune-up ball. This is a great one. This is a little bit softer for somebody who's never done this type of thing before. You can use the handle of a kettlebell. And lastly, I love using my Supernova. The folks at the Ready State, formerly known as Mobility Wad, Kelly Starrett, made this tool, and it is incredible because it really is bigger than a lacrosse ball and firm enough to really get into any area, and you don't have to be raised up on a surface, so it's great. Now, we are going to use whatever tool we have, and we are gonna give a little love to our diaphragm. So, you're gonna find the space right below the ribs and right above the bony part of the hip. We're gonna find that left side first if you want, and you're gonna use the extended leg on the bottom to sink into the ground onto this tool. So I find my spot, I'm gonna extend that leg back out like I showed you, and then I like to actually bend up my other leg for support and find that area there. Now, I want you guys to just take some deep breaths here. You should, with every exhale, relax more onto this and really let it do its job. This is gonna be excruciating if you've never done it before, so be very light with it at first. If you need to be up on the hands to really loosen that pressure, that's fine, and then come down as you feel ready to. Really, you can get enough on whatever tool you have just by starting up this way, and when you feel comfortable, you can come down. Couple deep breaths. We'll be about 2.5 minutes on each side, so this shouldn't take more than 5 minutes post-run. You'll also find that if you deal with any hip flexor pain, this type of gut smashing, as they call it, is going to enforce that length through the center of the core, letting you turn off a little bit of that hip flexor. It might be overworked, the front of the hips, because you're not accessing your full range, and your iliacus and your psoas, deep core muscles, aren't functioning properly because you're not taking care of them. They are wound up in there. If you sit a lot all day, you're slumped over, you're just shortening more and more. And then again, if you're never getting in there with any sort of mobility or stretching, you are never gonna let those guys release, and you're gonna force those smaller muscles to overwork. Sorry, I'm getting very passionate about this subject. I dealt with a hip injury this year, and this saved me, I swear. So then we'll switch sides. We'll go same place, other side. Again, you're not on the belly button by any means. You should be able to breathe here. It shouldn't make you feel like you want to vomit. If it does feel like that, you're probably in the wrong spot. So you're gonna move a little bit more laterally out to the side here. And again, just sinking. If you want to play with a little bit of a lower, kind of that lower part of the pelvic bowl, that's fine. I kind of bend those legs around and I just roll back and forth. When I find a good spot, I just relax. 2.5 minutes each side. This is your post-run routine to make sure that diaphragm is being well kept so that you can breathe nice and deep. Okay, so there you have it. I am obnoxiously confident in these techniques working for you. Whether you were new or advanced when you came to this video, I hope you picked something up that will work for you that you'd never heard before, and that you use these techniques 2 to 3 times a week to really notice the difference in your breathing and in your overall running. Your legs will burn less too, I promise you that. Now, if you guys are looking for more ways to make running feel easier, click right over here. I did a quick 5-minute video, couple things you can do to make that next run last a little bit longer, hurt a little bit less. And if you guys want anything else or have any comments or questions about the tools we used today, drop them in the comments below. I will see you guys another day.